Hello everyone, that is a complete recap of Joker, launched in 2019. If you become playing this video and need to peer greater from us, make certain to click on that subscribe button and hit the bell to recognize every time we add a brand new video. Since the Joker's first comedian EEE book, Look Withinside the Spring of 1940, there were many iterations of the individual created for all varieties of media, along with film. To date, 7 one-of-a-kind actors have taken at the daunting mission of bringing the Joker to stay action, mainly as a foil to his arch-nemesis Batman. In 2019, however, the individual changed into surely given his personal film titled Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix, who for his performance acquired the Academy Award for Best Actor in 2020. This made him the second actor to win an Academy Award for his overall performance, because the character, with the primary going to Heath Ledger for his iconic portrayal in The Dark Knight. Again in 2008, the movie itself turned into additionally nominated for 10 different awards, or even gained the Oscar for Best Original Score. The movie wasn't only a fulfillment critically, though, because it additionally controlled to rack up $1 billion at the Global Container Office, making it the 8th highest grossing movie of 2019, the 0.33 highest grossing DC film of all time, and the second highest grossing R-rated film of all time. At the back of Deadpool and Logan, DC hopes to recreate the fulfillment with the movie's sequel, freeing on October 4th, titled Joker, FOLIE à deux. So earlier than the brand new film, we have got determined now could be an amazing time to take a glance lower back via the occasions of the preceding Joker movie and run down the whole lot that took place. The film opens with inside the early 80s in Gotham City, in which we are brought to Arthur Fleck, a fantastically stricken guy who we examine additionally has a clinical situation that reasons sudden, frequent, and uncontrollable laughter that does not constantly suit how he feels. On pinnacle of different intellectual issues, he regularly meets together along with his therapist and gets numerous distinctive medications. To earn a living, Arthur works at Ha-Ha's as a celebration and marketing clown, despite the fact that he does not earn much, simply slightly sufficient to attend to himself and his mother Penny, who additionally suffers from numerous intellectual illnesses. Arthur hopes that his desires of turning into a famed stand-up comic can someday alternate their fortunes for the better. Despite looking to convey pleasure and laughter into the world, Arthur's hopefulness is still overwhelmed through the cutting-edge Kingdom of Gotham City because it's packed with violence and crime. He regrettably suffers firsthand, while at the same time as spinning a signal for a nearby business, he is attacked through a set of young adults and left mendacity in an alley. He's capable of discover a few consolation while he later returns domestic and watches his favored display together, along with his mother, live with Murray Franklin, which permits him to in brief get away truth as he imagines being on level along Murray. Also permitting him to get away truth is his interplay with one and all his neighbors, unmarried mom Sophie Dumond, with inside the elevator. He fast turns into fixated on her and comes to a decision to observe her round as she is going approximately her day, losing off her daughter at school, hopping at the teach, and heading to the bank, earlier than in the end turning returned home. It appears she'd sincerely observed him following her, as she suggests up at his condominium to confront him approximately it. However, she simply laughs it off, or even accepts Arthur's invitation to wait his upcoming stand-up display at Pogo's Comedy Club. Meanwhile, returned at work, one and all his co-workers, Randall, having heard approximately him getting jumped, offers Arthur a gun so he can defend himself with inside the future. It's clean that there may be a few form of self-serving motive as to why Randall sincerely determined to present Arthur the weapon. However, we by no means precisely discover what that is. While acting at a kid's hospital, Arthur by accident drops off the gun for all of us to see, straight away ensuing in him being fired. Randall additionally throws him below the bus, claiming Arthur had attempted and failed to shop for a gun off of him with inside the past. A saddened Arthur then hops at the teach and makes his manor returned home. During the ride, he notices 3 Wall Street men harassing a younger woman, inflicting him to uncontrollably start laughing, which turns their interest onto him instead. This outcomes in them directly beating him up until, suddenly, he shoots one and all them through the skull, observed through greater gunshots through another's torso, as the 1 to 3 tries to run away. He additionally manages to land some other shot via the man's leg earlier than sooner or later chasing him out of the subway and completing him off with more than 1 gunshots to the back. Arthur then right away flees the scene, walking till he arrives at a public restroom in which he's proven to have located a few entertainment in what he has simply done as he starts off evolved dancing in the front of the mirror. This thrill maintains whilst he returns to his condominium building, preventing at Sophie's door and right away planting a kiss on her. The subway murders of those 3 guys speedy hit the information and are quickly spoken approximately through Thomas Wayne, founding father of the multinational organization Wayne Enterprises. We study that Arthur's mom used to paintings for Wayne Enterprises years ago, and Thomas has these days introduced plans to run for mayor of Gotham City when requested approximately the murders, which a witness has claimed had been devoted through a person in a clown mask. Wayne harshly reprimands the killer for his or her moves and condemns the anti-wealthy sentiment developing within the town as a whole. He states that till the one's varieties of human beings extrade for the better, the ones people who've made something of our lives will usually study folks who have not anything, however clowns. On pinnacle of being criticized through his mom's hero, Arthur is quickly brought the horrific information that the town has reduced its investment for social services. This way, he and his therapist will not be capable of meet, nor will she be capable of offer him together, along with his medication. Not the whole lot seems to be too horrific though, as we see Arthur carry out his stand-up ordinary for the primary time earlier than heading out on a date with Sophie. However, he's once more significantly annoyed after he returns domestic, and springs throughout a letter from his mom addressed to Thomas Wayne. She has written many letters to him with Inside the Beyond and not using a response. However, this time Arthur makes a decision to test what she wrote. He discovers that the purpose she cares a lot, approximately Thomas, is due to the fact she and he was once lovers, and Thomas is Arthur's organic father. Arthur confronts his mom approximately this, and questions why she concealed it from him for some of these years. She explains that they determined it might be great for them to stay aside due to appearances. Arthur doesn't permit this forestall him from assembly his father though, as he directly makes his manor over to Wayne Manor the subsequent day. There, he quickly encounters Thomas's son, Bruce Wayne, in addition to the own circle of relatives, butler and bodyguard, Alfred Pennyworth. However, Alfred refuses to permit Arthur into the estate, even after Arthur exhibits who his mom is, and his understanding of her and Thomas is beyond dating. According to Alfred, they're in no way turned into any dating among them, claiming that Penny turned into a delusional and unwell woman. This angers Arthur sufficient that he grabs Alfred via way of means of the throat and starts off evolved strangling him, despite the fact that we could move upon noticing the worry in younger Bruce's face earlier than going for walks. Just as Arthur returns domestic later that nighttime, he sees his mom being carried into an ambulance. After arriving on the medical institution, Arthur learns what occurred from detectives Burke and Garrity. They had arrived at his condo in advance to invite him a few questions. However, he wasn't domestic in order that they requested his mom instead. This ended in her turning into beaten and struggling a stroke. Now that she has obtained clinical attention, the detectives have come to invite Arthur those questions himself, revealing that they'd spoken to his boss and previous co-people, and feature now come to look if he is aware of something approximately the current subway murders. Arthur is capable of blow them off, claiming he desires to test on his mom. While seated beside his mom's medical institution bed, Arthur watches that nighttime's episode of Live with Murray. During the show, he's greatly surprised to look pictures of himself being broadcasted. Check out this joke, Murray says as he performs a number of Arthur's stand-up ordinary from the alternative nighttime and mocks his failure to make absolutely everyone laugh, understandably significantly frightening him. Arthur feels a chunk higher the subsequent day though, as he learns from the information that protesters wearing clown masks have rallied out of doors of the night's benefit at Wayne Hall, which Thomas Wayne himself may also be attending. Arthur makes a decision to move over there as well, and after matters get a chunk chaotic, he's capable of sneak his manor via the protesters and into the building, permitting him to eventually come face to face with Thomas Wayne, Thomas Straight. Away shuts down the perception that he's Arthur's father, pointing out that he in no way had intercourse with Penny and that Arthur is really followed. He explains that in her time operating for them, Penny had followed Arthur now no longer too. Lengthy earlier than being arrested and dedicated to Arkham State Hospital. Arthur refuses to consider any of this and keeps to assert Thomas is his father, so Thomas punches him with inside the face and threatens to kill him. If he ever comes close to his son again, annoyed and confused, Arthur makes a decision to visit Arkham State Hospital himself to get a few definitive answers. After stealing his mom's documents from a clerk, he learns that he become, in fact, followed, and that Penny's thoughts had satisfied itself that she and Thomas had an intimate dating. thing that brought about Arthur's birth. In addition, Arthur additionally discovers what had came about to him to motive his fractured intellectual state. As a younger boy, he were relentlessly and time and again crushed through one in every of his mom's boyfriends till he become finally observed malnourished and tied to a radiator with excessive head trauma in her filthy condo through authorities. Arthur's mom hasn't been the best one mendacity to him though, as we quickly analyze Arthur has additionally been mendacity to himself. This is discovered after Arthur we-could himself into Sophie's condo, wherein it turns into clean that his complete dating together along with her were absolutely made up in his very own head following their first come across with inside the elevator. Sophie is taken aback and worried to look him seated in her domestic and begs for him to leave, which he happily does. While he seems to have best worried Sophie, he's proven to have a good deal darker intentions with regards to his mom. During his go to the subsequent day, we witness him shockingly kill her through suffocating her with a pillow. With his lifestyles having absolutely fallen aside in only a few brief days, Arthur seems to don't have anything left to stay for. However, simply previous to all of that and now no longer too lengthy after his look at the Murray Franklin show, Arthur had really obtained a Telecel smartphone name from a person who works for Murray. They requested if he, after the fantastic reaction his clips had gotten from viewers, would love to be a stay visitor at the show. Arthur selected to just accept the offer, which he now sees as the correct possibility to quit it all. He's interrupted, at the same time as making ready for his visitor look-through. Randall and some other of his former co-employees named Gary. Randall wishes to talk about what Arthur had instructed the detectives, probable to look if he ratted him out approximately the gun. However, Arthur as an alternative stabs Randall with inside the neck and eye earlier than again and again, slamming his head into the wall, killing him. Gary, on the alternative hand, is left unharmed as Arthur makes a decision to spare him or even facilitates him go out his home due to the fact that Gary became the handiest one that became ever great to him. For the display, Arthur dons his clown makeup as soon as again, which Murray questions earlier than they cross live. Arthur claims it has not anything to do with the latest protests and is simply part of his act so that they permit him to put on it. Before they cross out, Arthur makes one request. Can you carry me out? Can you introduce me as Joker? After creating a grand front-on degree or even planting a kiss on some other of Murray's guests, Arthur makes a decision to expose to the sector that he became the only who dedicated the subway murders. He admits he is bored with pretending that it failed to deliver him pleasure to have achieved it, claiming the sufferers had been three lousy guys much like Murray. He criticizes Murray for gambling his video and alluring him at the display simply to make a laugh of him. Arthur additionally takes the time to hurl complaint at Thomas Wayne, who he feels, just like the relaxation of Gotham's elite, has in no way given human beings like himself any thought. He blames this overlook as the principal purpose why the town has emerged as so lousy. Arthur then closes out his rant with one final joke, the punchline coming with inside the shape of a gunshot through Murray's skull. Good night, and constantly keep in mind that, immediately following the surprising murder, Arthur is tackled and arrested through police. However, he would not continue to be of their custody for long, as their car is abruptly slammed into through an ambulance pushed through one of the town's rioters. The rioter drags Arthur out of the wreckage to be surrounded and applauded through a crowd of his followers. Elsewhere within the city, Thomas Wayne tries to keep away from the riots via way of means of heading down an alleyway together along with his spouse and son. This, however, affects with inside the three being cornered via way of means of every other rioter, who abruptly shoots and kills each Thomas and Martha. Even as Bruce's lifestyles is spared, we then soar beforehand an unspecified quantity of time, and spot that Arthur has now located himself locked up in Arkham State Hospital, wherein he is being interviewed via way of means of a psychiatrist. However, the interview is introduced to an abrupt give-up, whilst Arthur violently murders the woman. The film concludes with him dancing his manner down the health center corridor and leaving a path of bloody footprints as orderlies chase after him, and that changed into our recap of Joker. If you loved the video or located it useful in any manner, ensure to depart a like and enroll in the channel. Also, allow us to realize with inside the feedback under wherein you'll rank Joker whilst evaluating it to each different DC film, in addition to wherein you'll rank Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of Joker in comparison to people who got here earlier than or since. Once more, thanks all a lot for watching, and I'll speak to you once more soon.